It was another scorching afternoon in Lagos, and Lola had been running errands all day. She had just gotten off work, and was mentally preparing for a blind date her friend had set up. Can you imagine the nerves of a single mom stepping into the unknown world of dating? As a single mother, Lola had little interest in dating. But her friend insisted, saying, "You can't keep living like this, Lola. Just go see what happens." She sighed as she arrived at a fancy restaurant in Victoria Island. This wasn't the kind of place she usually went to, but her friend had said the guy was successful. She was nervous, but at the same time, she had no expectations. What would you do if you walked into a high-end restaurant, feeling completely out of place? As she walked into the restaurant, she glanced around for her date. Her friend had told her to look out for a man in a blue suit. There he is, she thought, as she spotted a man at a table, dressed in a sharp blue suit, and looking like he had been waiting for someone. Without thinking much, she walked over to the table, cleared her throat, and said, "Are you waiting for someone?" The man looked up from his phone and smiled. "I didn't expect you to arrive so early. Please have a seat." Lola smiled awkwardly and sat down. There was something about him that felt different. His confidence and ease of conversation put her off a bit, but she shrugged it off as nerves. "So, tell me, what do you do?" the man asked, sounding genuinely interested. "I'm a businesswoman," Lola replied. "I run an online clothing store. It's been hard balancing everything, but I've managed so far." "That's impressive," he responded. "Not many people can run a business on their own." Lola was surprised by his interest. Most men she had met before weren't keen on asking about her work. As the conversation flowed, she felt herself getting more comfortable. But just as she was starting to enjoy the conversation, she received a call from her friend. "Lola, where are you? The guy said he's waiting for you, but you haven't shown up," her friend said urgently. Lola's heart sank. She quickly realized that she was sitting at the wrong table. "I'll call you back," Lola said, and ended the call, her face burning with embarrassment. The man raised an eyebrow, sensing her discomfort. "Is something wrong?" Lola hesitated before answering. "I think I'm at the wrong table. I'm really sorry." The man chuckled, his deep voice resonating. "I figured, but it's been fun talking to you. Don't worry about it." Lola couldn't help but laugh a little as she stood up. "I'm really sorry. Have a good evening." As she walked away to find her actual blind date, the man watched her go, a smirk forming on his face. He was intrigued. She finally found her real date at another table. The man, wearing a slightly worn-out blue suit, looked nothing like the confident stranger she had just left. The conversation was awkward, and it became clear that there was no spark between them. After a while, Lola made an excuse and left the date, her mind still stuck on the stranger from the wrong table. She didn't know who he was, but something about him lingered in her thoughts. Stay tuned to Innocent Stories to find out who this mysterious stranger is. The next morning, Lola was back to her usual routine. She got her son ready for school, and then headed to her shop, where she managed orders and coordinated with her suppliers. Life was busy, and she had no time to think about the night before. But as fate would have it, she was about to run into the mysterious man again. Later that afternoon, she walked into a popular cafe in Ikoyi to meet a client. As she waited for her coffee, someone tapped her on the shoulder. "Fancy meeting you here," the deep voice said. Lola turned around and saw the man from the previous night. He was dressed in a casual but expensive-looking outfit, and that same smirk was on his face. "Small world, right?" she replied, trying to play it cool, though her heart raced a bit. "Indeed," he said, extending his hand. "Alex." "Lola," she replied, shaking his hand. "You left the date in quite a hurry last night," he remarked, his eyes studying her carefully. "Well, it wasn't much of a date," she admitted, trying not to feel embarrassed. "What about you? What were you doing at the restaurant?" "Business meetings." "I'm a CEO," he said casually, as if it were no big deal. Lola raised an eyebrow. "A CEO, huh? And you didn't mention that last night." "You didn't ask," Alex replied, his tone teasing. Lola chuckled and shook her head. Well, I wouldn't have guessed. There was a brief silence between them, but it wasn't uncomfortable. In fact, Lola found herself enjoying his company, even though they had only met twice. Do you want to grab a seat? I have a bit of time before my meeting, Alex offered. Lola hesitated for a moment, but then nodded. Sure, why not? They found a table near the window, and the conversation flowed effortlessly. Alex was charming and witty, but he also seemed genuinely interested in what Lola had to say. So, you run your own business? Alex asked. Yes, I sell clothes online. It's been a tough journey, but I've built up a good customer base, Lola said proudly. I respect that, Alex said, nodding. It's not easy, especially in a place like Lagos. You're right, Lola agreed. But I've learned to hustle. Alex looked at her with admiration. You know, I don't meet a lot of women like you. Most people I know are caught up in the corporate world. Lola smiled. I guess I'm just different. The conversation continued until Alex had to leave for his meeting. As they parted ways, he turned to her and said, I'd like to see you again, if that's okay. Lola was taken aback by his directness, but she nodded. Sure, why not? As Alex walked away, Lola couldn't help but smile. She didn't know where this would lead, but she was intrigued. What happens when two worlds collide? Keep watching Innocent Stories to find out. The next few weeks passed quickly. Alex and Lola continued to see each other, and their connection deepened. But as their relationship grew, so did the obstacles. One evening, as Alex sat in his luxurious eco-y apartment, his phone rang. It was his mother. Alex, I've heard some things that concern me, his mother's voice said sharply. Who is this woman you've been seeing? Alex sighed. He knew this conversation was coming. His family was wealthy and influential, and they expected him to marry someone from a similar background. She's a businesswoman, Mom, Alex replied calmly. Businesswoman? That's not the kind of person I had in mind for you, Alex. You're a CEO. You need someone who can match your status, his mother insisted. I don't care about status, Mom. I care about who she is as a person, Alex said, frustration creeping into his voice. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Lola was dealing with her own family drama. Her mother had been nagging her about finding a stable man to marry. And when she mentioned Alex, her mother was skeptical. A CEO, Lola? Those kinds of men aren't for people like us, her mother said. They have their own world. Don't get your hopes up. Lola tried to brush it off, but the words lingered in her mind. Could she really be with someone like Alex? Would his world ever accept her? Will Lola and Alex overcome the doubts creeping into their hearts? Stay with Innocent Stories to see how their love unfolds. Just as things were starting to settle, trouble began brewing at Alex's company. A business rival, Bella, who had been eyeing Alex for years, grew jealous of his relationship with Lola. She couldn't stand the idea of losing him to someone she deemed beneath him. Bella started to scheme, spreading rumors about Lola's past and trying to turn Alex's family against her. She even showed up at Alex's office, demanding answers. You can't seriously be with her, Alex, Bella said, her voice dripping with disdain. She's not right for you. Your family will never accept her. Alex stood firm. I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm with Lola because I want to be, not because of anyone's approval. But Bella wasn't backing down. She was determined to break them apart, no matter the cost. Tension began to build as Alex's family became more vocal about their disapproval of his relationship with Lola. His mother, a strong-willed woman who prided herself on her family's status, decided it was time to confront the issue head-on. She organized a family dinner at their sprawling mansion in Ikoyi, and subtly invited Alex, making sure to leave no room for him to decline. That evening, as Alex walked into his parents' home, he was greeted by the familiar luxury that surrounded his family's life. The marble floors gleamed under the soft lighting, and the air smelled of expensive cologne and fine cuisine. His mother, dressed impeccably as always, greeted him with a warm smile that didn't reach her eyes. Alex, darling, it's so good to have you here. We need to talk, she said, leading him into the formal dining room, where the rest of the family was already seated. His father, who rarely involved himself in family matters, gave Alex a nod as he entered. But it was his mother who dominated the conversation. Alex, we've heard about this woman you've been seeing, she started, her tone polite, but filled with hidden meaning. We just want to make sure you're thinking clearly. A woman like her, she doesn't come from our world. You need someone who understands our family, our business, our way of life. Alex clenched his jaw, but remained calm. Mom, I've told you before. I don't care about those things. Lola is smart. She's driven. And most importantly, she's real. I don't want someone who just fits into a mold because it makes everyone else happy. His mother's smile faltered slightly, but she pressed on. Alex, we want what's best for you. Don't you think she's just after your money, after the life we've built for you? That was the final straw. Alex pushed back his chair and stood up. You don't know her. You've never even met her, but you're ready to judge her because she doesn't come from a wealthy background. That's not the kind of family I want to be a part of. His father cleared his throat. Alex, calm down. Your mother is just looking out for your future. You have to admit, this relationship could cause complications. Alex shook his head, feeling more distant from his family than ever before. If you can't accept Lola for who she is, then I don't know what else to say. I won't let you push her out of my life. Without another word, he walked out of the house, his heart heavy with frustration. Meanwhile, Lola was dealing with her own insecurities. As much as she tried to brush off the comments from her family and friends, the doubts had started creeping into her mind. Could she really have a future with someone like Alex? His world was so different from hers, and she couldn't shake the feeling that she didn't belong in it. One evening, after putting her son to bed, Lola sat on her small balcony, looking out over the bustling streets of Surulere. She thought about all the challenges she had faced as a single mother, the long hours she spent building her business, and how far she had come. But being with Alex brought a new kind of pressure that she wasn't sure she could handle. Can Lola find the strength to face a world that feels so foreign? Find out on Innocent Stories, *. As she sat there, lost in thought, her phone buzzed. It was Alex. Hey, he said softly when she answered. I just wanted to hear your voice. Lola smiled despite herself. Hey, how are you? I had a rough night, Alex admitted. My family, they're not exactly thrilled about us. Lola's heart sank. She had suspected this, but hearing it from Alex made it all too real. I figured as much, she said quietly. But I don't care, Alex continued, his voice firm. I'm not letting them dictate my life. I'm with you because I want to be, not because of what they think. Lola remained silent, unsure of what to say. Part of her was touched by Alex's loyalty, but another part of her was afraid. Could she really handle the scrutiny and judgment that came with being in his life? Are you okay? Alex asked, sensing her hesitation. I don't know, Alex, she finally admitted. I feel like I'm being dragged into a world where I don't belong. I'm just a regular woman, running my small business, raising my son. I'm not cut out for this high society stuff. Alex was quiet for a moment before responding, Lola, I don't care about high society. I care about you. Don't let them get in your head. You belong with me, just the way you are. His words were comforting, but Lola couldn't shake the feeling that things were about to get even more complicated. Bella, the daughter of Chief Thomas, Alex's business rival, who had been silently observing Alex's relationship with Lola, decided it was time to take matters into her own hands. She had always had her eyes on Alex, not just because of his success, but also because she enjoyed the challenge of being in control. To her, Lola was nothing more than an obstacle in the way of what she wanted. One afternoon, Bella made her way to Alex's office, armed with information that she knew would shake his world. She had done some digging and found out about Lola's past, specifically the financial struggles she had gone through, and the mistakes she had made along the way. As she walked into Alex's office, she put on her best fake smile. Alex, darling, we need to talk. Alex looked up from his desk, his expression indifferent. What is it, Bella? I'm busy. Bella sauntered over to his desk, placing a folder in front of him. I thought you should know the kind of woman you're dealing with. Alex's eyes narrowed as he opened the folder and scanned its contents. It contained old financial records, news clippings about Lola's business struggles, and even rumors about her personal life. This is none of your business, Bella, Alex said coldly, pushing the folder back towards her. Isn't it? Bella replied, her voice dripping with fake concern. I care about you, Alex. I don't want to see you get hurt. This woman, she's using you. Can't you see that? Alex stood up, his eyes flashing with anger. Get out of my office, Bella. Bella's smile faltered, but she quickly recovered. I'm just trying to help, Alex. You deserve better than this. I don't need your help, Alex said firmly. And I don't need your opinions about my personal life. Bella knew she had pushed too far, but she wasn't about to give up. Fine, she said, her voice icy. But don't say I didn't warn you. As she walked out of the office, Bella vowed to find another way to get what she wanted. She wasn't done with Lola. Not by a long shot. Will Bella's schemes tear Alex and Lola apart? Don't miss the next twist on Innocent Stories, Lola had no idea that her past was about to catch up with her. While she had worked hard to build her business and provide for her son, there were some things she couldn't erase. She had made mistakes, like anyone else, and she had struggled financially more times than she could count. But she had always kept going, determined to create a better life for her son. One evening, as she was closing up her shop, she received a call from an unknown number. When she answered, the voice on the other end was cold and unfamiliar. Ms. Lola, I suggest you end your relationship with Alex if you know what's good for you. Lola's heart raced as she listened to the threat. Who is this? That doesn't matter, the voice continued. But if you don't back off, I'll make sure everyone knows about your past. I'll destroy your reputation. The call ended before Lola could respond, leaving her shaken. Who would do this, and why? As she sat in her shop, her mind racing, she realized that being with Alex was bringing more complications than she had ever imagined. Lola sat in her small shop, her hands trembling after the threatening call. She had faced many challenges in her life. But this felt different. Whoever this person was had the power to ruin her, and she didn't know how to stop it. As she closed her shop for the night, her mind was clouded with fear and uncertainty. The next morning, Alex arrived at her place, visibly agitated. He held a folder in his hand, the same one Bella had presented to him. Lola immediately sensed something was wrong. We need to talk, Alex said, his tone uncharacteristically serious. Lola nodded and invited him inside. As they sat down, Alex placed the folder on the table between them. Someone is trying to stir up trouble, Alex began. Bella came to me with this, claiming that you have a dark past and financial problems. Lola's heart sank as she opened the folder and saw the records of her past struggles. Her business had hit rough patches, but she had worked hard to overcome them. She had been transparent with Alex about her life, but seeing it all laid out in this way felt like an invasion. I know about this, Alex, Lola said, her voice steady but sad. I've never hidden anything from you. Yes, I struggled. I had debts. I made mistakes, but I always did what I could to survive for my son. Alex looked at her, his expression softening. I believe you, Lola. I know Bella's just trying to sabotage us, but this is getting serious. Someone threatened you, didn't they? Lola nodded, feeling the weight of the situation pressing down on her. Yes, I got a call last night. They told me to leave you, or they would ruin me. Alex stood up, pacing the room, clearly frustrated. This is exactly what I was worried about. People like Bella, people from my world, they don't like seeing me with someone who doesn't fit their idea of who I should be with. Lola looked at him, her voice soft. Maybe they're right. Maybe I don't belong in your world. Alex turned to her, his eyes fierce. No, don't say that. You belong with me, Lola. I don't care about any of this. We can get through it together. But deep down, Lola wasn't so sure. The pressure was mounting, and it was becoming harder to ignore the growing divide between their worlds. Can love survive when the world is against it? Keep following Innocent Stories to find out. As the weeks went by, the tension between Alex and Lola grew. Despite Alex's reassurances, Lola couldn't shake the feeling that she was dragging him down. She didn't want to be the reason he had to fight with his family, or deal with constant scrutiny. The threatening calls continued, each one more menacing than the last, and it was taking a toll on her. One evening, after another exhausting day at her shop, Lola made a difficult decision. She called Alex, and asked him to meet her at a quiet restaurant in Surrey. When he arrived, he could tell by the look on her face that something was wrong. "I can't do this anymore, Alex," Lola said, her voice barely above a whisper. Alex's heart sank. "What do you mean? Don't let them get to you, Lola. We can fight this." But Lola shook her head, her eyes filled with sadness. "This isn't just about the threats. It's about everything. Your family will never accept me. I don't fit into your world, and I don't want to be the cause of your problems." Alex reached across the table and took her hand. "You're not the cause of my problems. You're the one thing that makes me happy, Lola. Don't throw this away." Tears welled up in Lola's eyes as she pulled her hand back. "I'm doing this for you, Alex. You deserve someone who can be a part of your life without all these complications. I love you, but I can't keep fighting this battle." Alex sat back, his face a mix of shock and pain. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Lola, please don't do this." But Lola had made up her mind. She stood up, her heart breaking as she walked away from the man she loved. After Lola broke things off with Alex, she threw herself into her work. She focused on expanding her business, pouring all her energy into making it a success. But no matter how busy she kept herself, she couldn't escape the emptiness she felt inside. She missed Alex terribly, but she convinced herself that she had made the right decision. Alex, on the other hand, was devastated. He spent weeks trying to figure out how to win her back. But every time he reached out, Lola pushed him away. His family, particularly his mother, was relieved that the relationship had ended. But Alex wasn't. He knew he couldn't move on. One day, as Lola was working in her shop, she received a surprising visit. It was Alex's mother. "Lola, may I have a word with you?" she asked, her tone surprisingly polite. Lola hesitated, but she nodded, and invited her in. They sat down in the small office at the back of the shop. "I wanted to apologize," Alex's mother began. "I realize now that I misjudged you. Alex has been miserable since you left. He hasn't been himself. He is even sick because of this issue, and I can see that he truly loves you. I should never have interfered." Lola was taken aback by the sudden change in tone. She had never expected this woman to come to her, let alone apologize. "I appreciate that," Lola said cautiously. "But it's more complicated than that. Your world, it's not for me." Alex's mother sighed. "I understand why you feel that way. But Alex doesn't care about those things. He cares about you. And I've come to realize that what matters most is his happiness. If you make him happy, then you belong in his life, no matter what anyone else thinks." Lola felt a glimmer of hope, but she wasn't sure if she could trust it. What if things don't work out? What if the pressure is too much? Alex's mother smiled softly. "Love isn't easy, Lola, but it's worth fighting for. Don't let fear stop you from being with the man you love." Will Lola give love another chance, or is it too late for her and Alex? Find out on Innocent Stories. After the conversation with Alex's mother, Lola spent the next few days reflecting on everything. She had been so focused on the challenges that she had forgotten why she had fallen in love with Alex in the first place. He had never cared about their differences, only about their connection. One evening, as she was closing up her shop, Alex appeared at the door. He looked nervous, but determined. "I'm not giving up on us," he said, stepping inside. "I know you're scared, but I love you, Lola, and I'll fight for you no matter what." Lola's heart raced as she looked into his eyes. She had tried so hard to push him away, but seeing him there, standing in front of her, she realized that she couldn't deny her feelings any longer. "I love you, too, Alex," she whispered. Alex smiled, relief washing over him. He stepped forward and pulled her into his arms, holding her tightly as if he would never let go. "I don't care what anyone thinks," Alex said softly. "We'll face it all together." Lola smiled through her tears, finally allowing herself to believe in their love. Together, she agreed. With the support of Alex's family, especially his mother, Alex and Lola were finally able to build a life together. They faced challenges, of course, but their love for each other was strong enough to overcome them. Lola's business continued to grow, and Alex's company thrived under his leadership. They got married in a small, intimate ceremony, surrounded by close family and friends. It wasn't the grand, extravagant wedding that Alex's family had originally envisioned, but it was perfect for them. Simple, sincere, and filled with love. Lola's son adored Alex, and the three of them built a happy life together. Alex's family, once skeptical of their relationship, grew to love and accept Lola for who she was. As they stood together in their new home, looking out at the city they both loved, Alex wrapped his arm around Lola's waist and smiled. "We did it," he said softly. Lola leaned into him, her heart full. "Yes, we did." Their journey hadn't been easy, but in the end, love had conquered all, and that was all that mattered. Thank you for watching Innocent Stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more heartwarming stories like this one.